The sun is just rising up over the treetops. It's gonna be a beautiful day, that's plain to see. I better stick to fishing, huh? Just stole that from Jimmy Houston, old school. Three Forks Marsh, Palm Bay. Let's go catch some clowns. First stop of the morning. There's a little narrow area right here where sometimes, you know, they get some current running through there, and we've had a lot of rain lately. So let's pull in here and let's make a couple of throws right here. If nothing's going on, we'll work our way a little further south. You know, that just goes to show you, I mean, it's like not really a topwater morning. There's like no bait fish activity on the top, no nothing. Fish for like 15 minutes. Well, we're here in Palm Bay, so you fish for like 15 minutes, you don't get a bite, you start changing stuff around. But doing what I was supposed to be doing, pick up a topwater that you're not supposed to be doing when everything's just, when there's no activity, and bam, catch one on topwater. Hey, you gotta keep changing around. He's got to eat. Palm Bay bruiser. He's got that trocar 6 waves from Sunday in his mouth right there. Look at that. How's that even happen? Palm Bay fish. The old scissor flip. How about that? I haven't caught a bass on the old scissor flip in a long time for the scissor flip. What an awesome fish. You know, that just goes to show you, like, you know, we're catching fish today, and obviously, you know, that's the first big one of the day, and I caught it pitching that new little prototype net bait deal around. But man, it's just flat calm and there's like nothing going on. Of course, Palm Bay, we're catching fish, but like I can't get in a groove. You know what I'm saying? Like I've caught a couple nice ones on top water, just caught that big one pitching some lily pads. It's hot, man, it's hot. It's Halloween day and it is really hot out. Man, I'm just kind of perplexed though. Like I just can't imagine that I can't get anything like a solid pattern going on. You know, it's just kind of, I'm kind of fumbling around. Like I said, I'm catching fish, you know, just caught a big one. But man, it's just been weird today. So let's see what we can figure out. Let's see if we can actually put a pattern together instead of just junk fishing around. But hey, you know what? We're catching bass. Junk fishing around really isn't that bad. Now we got something going on, boys. Now we got something going on. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Look at that. Palm Bay, boys. We got the salad and we got the meat. Look at the meat on that. Might have something going on now. You know, we were kind of bebopping around this morning, catching a few on top water, catching a few on, you know, pitching the pads, doing some stuff. I actually caught one old man scissor flipping. I think I'm starting to figure out the little nuance, and usually during a day of fishing, that's always the difference, is figuring out that little nuance. And I think what it is today, we've caught 2 big ones in like 15 minutes. I'm being super quiet. Like, it is still, it's slick, it's hot, and I'm being super quiet. Trolling motor being super quiet, trying to be super quiet in the boat. My presentation's super quiet. A lot of times down here in Florida, especially in the Palm Bay area, you pitch it up there to a set of pads or buy some hydrilla, he just grabs it. But I think today what it's teaching us is just being quiet and stealthy. I'm trying to ease my bait down in the water, you know, just being real careful. Guess what? In like 15, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes, we've caught 2 really big ones, and I bet you there's going to be a couple more. Palm Bay fish. Get up here. Get on up here. Trocar stab. Well, I think we're kind of getting onto it now. I think we figured out what the deal is. And it's definitely being stealthy, being quiet. We're catching some bass. What I want to do now, you've heard me reference a couple times in this video, scissor flipping. And hey, actually, let's do this. Let's put the power poles down. I'm gonna learn you something. Difference between flipping and pitching. You hear people all the time. Caught them flipping and pitching, flipping and pitching. Flipping is actually when you never disengage the reel. You just get an amount of line out and you pull the line out from the side and you kind of flip it over there. Like we found today, when you're trying to be super stealthy. I mean, trolling motors on like 10, trolling motors on what I like to call creep. And just trying to be quiet in the boat, being super stealthy. And normally I don't flip because you're very limited on your distance you are from your target. But when it's slick, calm like this, and I got just a gentle little breeze at my back, so I'm just really just creeping along and just hitting the trolling motor every once in a while, just basically to adjust my drift. But this is one of the very few times I actually use flipping. Now, pitching is what I use 99% of the time because I can pitch 20 yards, you know, so I'm much more efficient at hitting different targets, you know, out there. So, but you're not quite as stealthy. You know, I can lay it in there pretty quiet on a pitch, but you're still not going to be as stealthy as when you're flipping. And obviously when you're flipping, you're closer, you're considerably more accurate, even though you can be pretty accurate pitching out there at 20 yards too. A lot of guys are. But man, when it's slick calm like this, one of the few times that I go back to the old school, as we call it, old man scissor flipping. So let's do some more old man scissor flipping. Of course, mixing a little pitching in there. And that's the thing, you can do both. You know, when you see a target that, you know, that warrants pitching over there, getting a little further distance to it, you know, maybe further back in the pads or something, of course then you're going to pitch. But for just dobbing, as our old buddy Glenn Brown used to say, as you're just dobbing on the outside of these pads, the old man scissor flipping's the way to go today. I mean that fish, it's a decent one. I mean, that fish hit that bait. That's like the hardest strike I've ever had, I think maybe in my life. I mean, that sun line jumped a foot through those halo guides. Holy crap. I mean, decent fish, but nothing real special, but golly, that fish hit that thing so hard. I felt that next week. One thing, like you guys just saw right there, like that I don't like about flipping. Now, I'm not talking about pitching, I'm talking about flipping, is that when you get that bite, you're out of position to set the hook. Like it's awkward, you know what I mean? Like that's the only thing. But I mean, it's a great technique, you know, and it's won a lot of tournaments over the years. But there, you know, there's some downfalls to it, and I really think that's one of the reasons why you see guys, you know, employing that pitching technique a lot more than flipping.